to sing along to Varenheim.
Hello,
It is a
everyone,
very good song.
and welcome back to this spooky edition of Fleet's Catch-Up Ramblings. Yes, taking place on Halloween night, so watch out, there could be spooks about. I'm joined by the freaky Fox, who happens to be missing her head tonight.
Don't call me that!
Why did you... You know, Fleet, when we were just saying
I
about
know.
phrasing...
I know, but
you are aware...
I know,
No.
that one was deliberate because I found it funny.
No,
You're insulting her honour?
You're insulting my honor. The damnable feat of oceans.
Says the lady who I know for a... that would be... Yeah, no, that defense doesn't
Fleet's
fly.
feet have gone walking on him again.
Don't mention my bloody feet, they're fucking stinging like hell. Yeah, Jesus. Anyway, so without further ado, I'm going to really
May
try...
your pillow always be warm.
That's fine, I like a warm pillow. So thanks.
Boiling warm.
Sounds good to me, hot water bottle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this isn't
No. I'm talking graphite core of an RBMK reactor.
Well, at least then I won't have to worry. Well, then I won't have to worry about it then, because if it's that warm,
I'm dead. I'm fucking dead.
yeah, put me out of my misery. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm fucking dead. That's it. We're done. Good night, Vienna. Anyway, so we're gonna really try and hammer through these questions. I don't think we're gonna. You need to get your mind out of the bloody gutter. You're the one who.
I don't know. You're the one who called me freaky. And since I get freaky.
Are you implying that you're not? Because I don't. Anyway, I'm not gonna go into that here.
Right, moving swiftly onward.
Anyway, so yes, we're gonna try and cram through as many of these questions as we can tonight, and we will see if we need. So I've only got an hour and a half to do it. So because I do need to do a bit of relaxation after work. And I do need to then go to bed early because I've got to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. Yippee!
Have you considered not sleeping?
No, that doesn't work for me. I'm not Alex. I am not a functioning insomniac.
It's called, like, 3 units of energy drink.
Yeah, that doesn't work. I tried that once or twice. It fucking killed me. Anyway, moving on. Knight 6831 asks, if the British Empire had 3 Eagle-converted Admiral carriers running around, would they be unlikely to get modernization in the time before World War II? Probably not.
They don't need it.
No, not really. I mean, if you think about what you need to do to modernize a carrier compared to modernizing something like a QE, you don't have to replace their engines. In fact, there's very little you have to do. You just have to fit them with radar when it becomes available. They've got the superstructure for it already, and they've definitely got the power gen. And fit them with light and medium anti-aircraft guns and strip their 16 secondaries for a 4-inch dual-purpose battery when the time comes for that.
Just confirm, they said Eagle-style conversion, right?
Yes.
Well, my immediate question is, well, what modifications did Eagle get?
Well, it's different with her because she was the slowest of the RN carriers apart from Argus.
But even then, she got pom-poms.
Mm-hmm.
She got refit with experimental, carrier operation capability. She was one of the first ships to get saltwater sprayers that fitted the entire hangar. She got then high-angle mounts. She got the 4-inch. She got more pom-poms. She then got the Vickers 50 cal, more foam generators than the proper high-angle control system. She got the same modifications as basically any Royal Navy carrier did. She just was basic. So you're basically just looking at... Honestly, you're probably just looking at the same sort of Eagle-style conversion, because Eagle basically is the experimental carrier.
Alright. So you're not getting Furious's... Like, Furious had to go into rebuild repeatedly because of how her decks were designed. With her having strange open decks, the multiple flight decks, and just no. And the hump. Eagle doesn't have that. And she's not they're nowhere near as lightly built as Glorious was. So it doesn't need the rebuilds for structural reasons. So, and you can argue the only reason that Eagle got the improvements to her carrier survivability, stuff like the foam sprayers, was because she was the test bed for the illustriouses, because she was the least capable of the carriers that could effectively mount them. Like, they looked at putting it on Hermes to then realise Hermes was a really bad case study. Because of how small she was.
Hermes is a bad case study for an illustrious. She's actually good for smaller carriers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you consider that a lot
carrier,
of those hangar safety stuff on Eagle was done to Eagle to test for the illustriouses. And Ark Royal, it makes sense.
Yeah, that's probably what you, in my opinion, probably what you would end up seeing.
But China Lord, they won't. The boilers wouldn't be worn down bad.
As long as you're doing proper maintenance on them, which they were.
It's not even that, it's the case of the QEs. A lot of their wearing down was done in the First World War as 6th Battle Squadron. And then a lot of the HUD's wear down was her running around the planet at 30 plus knots. Along with Renown and Repulse. Even then, Renown and Repulse, their engines weren't too worn down. They were just, especially with Renown's rebuild, increasing her displacement by 4,000 tons. So they rebuilt the engines while they were doing it. It's like sure, she might need a midlife engine refit, but that's only going to be after war start and after war service. Well, then again, it also depends. Did the question say which ship was being converted?
Oh, 3 admirals. 3 admirals.
Oh! Then yeah, they won't need engine rebuilds.
No, not at all. They'll be fresh. Just like Courageous Curious and Floris were. Floris?
Flores.
I can't believe it. Dude, my fucking... Look, I'm tired. It's been a
This
day.
is why Fleet needs to relax afterwards.
Yeah.
Is this a floral support ship for the Royal Navy? HMS Florius?
Yes, it was Floris. Come get your fluoride! Where all the toothpaste is stored.
And fluoride accessories.
Oh, better keep RFK away from it then.
Right.
Anyway,
okay.
So if it's based
Just
off
to
the
wrap up.
admirals,
Just to wrap it up quickly, if you don't mind too much.
those engines are designed for much heavier ships to be going much faster in wartime conditions. And the issue why Hood's engines are so burnt out is because she's been sailing under wartime conditions on some of the world tours, and in the early part of the war, and in the Obsidian crisis. She does 32 knots past the Italian fleet to flex on them. But the carriers don't get run nearly as hard as Hood does, and the admirals are built to be run hard. Remember, the Hood was built to be able to transit the Atlantic at 22 knots.
Okay, all the way in the snow.
What was that, Ronan?
Uphill, both ways, in the snow. And technically, that is a correct statement. Plus or minus the snow.
Okay. Anyway, next question.
Yes,
As
okay.
when you transit the equator, you're going uphill.
Yeah. So, Bone Mill Boy, if the Mahdiya, aka the jihadist state that ruled Sudan from 1880 to until its reconquest in the 1890s, had wanted to interdict could they have interdicted trade in the Red Sea? And if so, how would they do so? No. Fundamentally, no. They lack the port facilities, they lack the infrastructure, they lack the knowledge base to even build basic sailing ships capable of ocean-going travel, which you would need to do to interdict the sort of merchant traffic going on in the Red Sea at that point. you'd need sailing vessels of significant size and speed to overhaul the steam merchant ships. Little smacks and schooners, etc., are not gonna cut it.
Well, they could, but they don't have the capability to build them.
But
So, for context,
not really.
this Sudanese jihadist group was occupied the western part of the Upper Nile River, which means eighth on the wrong side of Sudan. And yeah,
this is the force that would kill General Gordon at the Siege of Khartoum. They did have a brown water navy, including some steamboats that they captured. But again, as Foxo says, other side of Sudan, not anywhere near the...
and it's like, it might not look like it on the map, but Khartoum is about the same latitude as Eritrea.
Yeah.
And you're looking at distances that are like crossing Bulgaria
And it's
to
important
even get to the Red Sea.
Yeah, it's important to bear in mind as well that Northern Sudan and all of Sudan's Red Sea ports were still under the control of Egypt and indirectly, therefore, Britain.
Yeah.
Because basically the Mahadis ran out of steam as soon as they ran into the end of the railhead. Because at that point,
It wasn't even that. They ran out of steam because they occupied what's nowadays southern Sudan, right?
they've got... Yeah. How far north have they
So,
got?
what we modern day called South Sudan is non-Arab and specifically very, very galvanized, even at this point, anti-Muslim. That had been fighting their own guerrilla campaign against the sultans of Egypt for like... I think it's like I think it's since the 1700s and 1600s when the Mamluks pushed south.
Yeah.
It's like they ran out of steam because they got into fights with other religious fundamentalists.
Funny how that works.
Ruinon, I've not got all the questions in the. I've not had time. I've been absolutely cream crackered working my new job. Would you mind awfully, trying to move the questions over if you can?
I think we're on the
I
phone,
can't.
yeah.
'Cause you're coming with me on errands, whether you like it or not.
Okay, I will do it as we go through. Then I'll do it as we go through.
I got back at 6 o'clock last night and was in bed by 10.
Oof, I know what you mean. Yeah, we will. We'll do it as we go through. Right. Okay. So next.
And also, I just looked up and checked. These early proto-jihadist groups also got into conflict with the northern branch of the Ethiopian Christians
And of course,
and Ethiopia.
And of course, let's not forget they got into the into conflict with, the actual people who supposedly are the representatives of the Islamic religion at that point. The Ottoman Empire.
Well,
The people who actually own Mecca and who claim direct descent from Muhammad.
yes, but these were a different type of Muslim that did not. Okay, so quick crash course. As I understand it, there is several different branches of Islam, right?
More than just a little bit.
Sunni and Shia are the most prominent.
You've got
At least in the-
Ibadi and a bunch of others. Because Ibadi, if I'm saying that correctly, and apologies if I say any of this incorrectly, I'm not proficient in Arabic, represent a lot of the internal and Saharan forms of Islam. They specifically present in a lot of North Africa and non-coastal North Africa.
Hmm.
And one of the things they don't do is, with a lot of asterisks, they don't follow their Sunni caliphs. They believe they're illegitimate.
Fair enough.
So
I mean, that's why I did say, you know, they're in conflict with, you know, the other, the Ottoman
yeah, but it's. I know it's not the same, and I'm sure someone in chat will point out at some point. But it's almost like asking them what they thought of the Turkish Caliph and the Ottomans when it comes to religious authority would be like asking a Lutheran what they think of the Pope in this period.
Right.
It's at best not really caring. But yeah, they're also going to have a lot of fights with the Apostolic. No, it's not the Apostolic Christians. Ah, fuck. Dragon, could you do us a favour? If you're still here?
Yes, I wouldn't display that quickly.
Could you check what the name of the Ethiopian church is?
Okay, give me a sec.
I know they're Orthodox.
But they've got a special name because all of the Eastern churches are Orthodox. Because we call the Armenian Christians Apostolic, if I remember correctly.
Toledo?
Wait, this is actually something I know slightly about.
Ethiopian Orthodox Toledo Church is what I seem to find.
The Toledo Church.
But that might just be the actual location, not
Let's
necessarily
not
the actual
get
name
too much
of
down this
Yeah.
religious rabbit hole. We should probably move on. We've kind of answered the question.
Yeah, but religious infighting, don't you love it?
No, I don't.
No, it's usually the most violent of all infighting.
And the most pointless.
The next question?
It's usually underlined by other non-spiritual goals and then used as an excuse. The problem
Yes.
is it tends to amplify the violence and depravity of one or multiple sides. Why did I not get the Stretch Armstrong upgrade?
Anyway, next question.
Okay. Moving on. What's the longest scheduled, non-continuous, 24-hour shift the panels have worked, and how long were they on that schedule? Probably some of the longest days would have been with BCA, but no, it wasn't scheduled. It was just working that day as much as I needed to do to get the cars home or to get myself home that day. It wasn't really scheduled. I suppose I've not worked longer than 8 hours on any scheduled shift because I don't do overtime as a rule.
As a hard and fast rule?
Yeah, my private time is far too fucking precious.
Damn, I'm too much of a money whore then.
I mean, the worst I've ever done, and this was due to my company being cunts and deciding that they would end my shift 3.5 hours away from home on the regular. And this was for 4 months and almost burnt me to the bone. Outways.
I remember that.
Was a 13 to 14 hour combined.
Yeah, that's where I say either you shorten my run area or you pay me trip time.
Problem was she was the only person in the company at the time.
In the
her area.
region.
So you shorten my trip area or you pay me trip time. It's not that big.
Not how it works in the UK.
Well, no, I could have done that if I wasn't a junior engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the type of thing where if an apprentice was telling me that a contractor was doing that, I tell them to go talk to the hall. Because yes, technically, if you are taking home your vehicle, then your time, your start clock in and clock out time can be adjusted. But 3.5 hours, that's... No. I'm sorry, no.
This normally resulted in multiple very angry Foxo calls.
Oh, gee, I wonder why.
Oh boy, I've just realised the next question is about to cause a horrific amount of violence and death.
Go on.
Unlikely, but
No.
Born is hungry.
No. When I read the question aloud, you will understand why. Bone Meal Boy asks, what if Iran and all the territory it controls from December 1982 is teleported back in time to December 1914? Allow me to take first crack at this. You've sent back the Islamic fundamentalist Shia Republic of Iran, when it is on a war footing and fighting the Iraqis, to a time when its largest rival ideologically in Islam is the Ottoman Empire, which can fundamentally not resist it at all in any way, shape, or form. And quite frankly, there's nothing that... Until the Iranians run out of offensive steam, they can march in whatever bloody direction they like. And no one can basically stop them.
I'd say something even worse is going to happen. So,
Oh,
do
they
you
were
know
also,
the main issue Iran's going through at this point?
apart from the whole full-scale Iraqi
Is
invasion.
the aftermath of the revolution. And as I was talking about a while ago with someone else, until the 2000s, after their so those that don't know, Iran before the revolution was the actual, what we would call Iran, was significantly smaller, right?
What do you mean?
With significant autonomous subregions that were basically fully self-governing under the Shah.
Mm-hmm.
This included the Turks and the southern Azerbaijanis and the Turkmenis in the northeast, and the Baluchis in the southeast.
It's almost as if the Shah realised he was trying to run a multi-ethnic state.
Yeah,
and
it was a
adapt to the cause.
multi-ethnic state. It had a very large Christian and Jewish minority. It had quite a large Hindu minority. And one of the things the Islamist government decides to do is strip away all of the rights of the autonomous regions, which kickstarts most famously the Kurds being a thorn in their side that exists to this day.
This is unsurprising.
Because people forget after the Turkish genocide of the Kurds, most Kurds fled into Kurdish Iran.
Because it's almost as if the Shah was willing to actually, in that great Persian tradition, play ball with minorities, as Persians have often done.
Yes, so the Islamist government decides to enforce religious law, start persecuting the Christian, the Shia, the Sunni, Hindu, and Nestorian minorities, which starts a whole bunch of brush wars.
Unsurprising.
This is where Saddam Hussein fucked up. By essentially declaring a jihad, a holy war, against Iran, which basically caused a rally around the flag effect. Because he too was also trying to genocide the Kurds, which caused the Kurds to go, Iran's persecuting us and the Iraqis are killing us, we're going to fight for the Iranians. And yeah, it was the compressive strength of the compressive effect of the Iran-Iraq war and just how brutal that got, which allowed the Islamist government to solidify power.
I mean, they could call a jihad against the Ottomans, given their, given that, and I mean, what better way to rally around the fact saying Allah has moved us back in time to fulfill the holy mission to spread Shiaism across this backward world?
Maybe?
Wait a minute, what? What's the timestamp for Iran?
They are fully mobilized on a war footing in 82. And they're going back to December 1914.
Yeah, but the issue is
they
that...
could have significant problems.
Why
Yeah,
could they have significant problems?
Logistics.
I would point out that,
logistical issues aside, it's more of you take that state back to this point, that state's not going to survive.
I don't know. I feel like the Shiite could basically point to the whole we traveled back in time after the revolution bit and go, maybe, just saying, guys, maybe, this is our legitimacy, because we've been brought back in time, to spread Shia Islam across the world.
If it was modern day Iraq, yes.
Iran, you mean?
Sorry, Iran, yes. But this is still religiously and culturally diverse Iran.
Yes, which is also going to have a higher proportion of people who can claim patrilineal descent to the royals, which is going to, in 1914, if I heard that right, that part of the question right,
Yeah.
Is going to have some slightly stronger levers to pull up in Europe.
Oh, I just realized it's worse than that. The British basically have to show the fuck up because they've just lost access to their share. They've just lost access to their share in the Shah's oil fields. The thing that guarantees.
In the case of they have to show up, it is they are showing up. Right.
And the Baluchis
the Russians
are on the
south.
Raj's border.
Yeah.
And the Baluchis are currently going. And Baluchis were looking at Pakistan going, give us guns. Pakistan was like, you're a separatist movement that's fighting us. Why would we give you guns?
This is different, though. This is entirely different.
Before the Pakistani-Baluchi conflict. This is before Pakistan.
Because bear in mind, the Baluchis are protected under British rule at this point.
Yeah.
And
the reason the borders lay where they lay is because of the several treaties around the Baluchis, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, the Afghanis tried to seize Baluchistan in the immediate aftermath of World War II. They started a few border wars and got slapped immediately, so they backed the fuck off.
Yeah.
And also, while on paper, 1984
82.
Iran has 82, 84, tomato.
That distinction absolutely matters. They lose a lot of their heights.
Not for what I'm about to talk about, Fleet.
Okay.
Has a undisputed tech edge over any power in the world in 1914. I question their ability to be able to sustain full-scale war against even the second-tier powers in 1914.
Well, here's the thing.
Hang on, let me finish. Because before the revolution, they were getting a lot of material support and technical support from the U.S. and associates. I said before the revolution.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, then post-revolution, they're getting it from the Soviets. So you have this weird mix, because the revolution was what, 76, 78?
79.
79.
79. Okay, so yeah, the election was in 1980 then. In 79, so you're still in this, just getting out of this weird period where you're switching from a Western standard to an Eastern standard. And I'm not saying that the casualties on the 1914 powers aren't going to be grossly out of proportion to Iran in 1914, but they're only going to be able to sustain that for so long. And let's see, is 1914 before or after the start of World War One?
December 1914 is after the war. The race to the sea has ended, the trenches are locked in, and the Ottomans have joined the conflict.
Okay, I just checked the figures. In 1982, Iran imports 52% of its food supply.
Yeah, that's another problem.
They either need to snatch and grab arable land, which they could do in the west if they're quick about it, while holding in the east.
Nope.
What do you know?
The Iranian agricultural sector isn't fully mechanized yet.
Oh, yes, but that doesn't mean you can't still snatch and grab arable land if you have more.
It's not going to be enough. Because looking at it, the only places that are reliable, that are producing enough food to sustain them, that are relatively nearby, is stuff like the Northern Caucasian steppe.
Okay, now what I'm gonna say is gonna sound weird, but I suppose I've got to say it anyway. The Iranian military, technically, given its advantages, if they make that their first move, have entirely the resources to take that area and hold it. In fact, they have the potential to basically hold for as long as their ammunition and food supplies hold out, and for such a bloody toll that they're basically going to force people to come to terms and accept that they exist. But they're gonna have to seize the Caucasian steppe. It's not really up for debate.
Yes, so Chandler suggested Egypt. I'm just going to point out, Egypt is still an agrarian economy.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Egypt is still a net exporter. It's just a narrow margin net exporter.
It's also
because
logistically
most of its population subsistence farming still.
It's also going to be logistically hellish. It's also going to be logistically hellish to go there, in terms of across the deserts and plains of Iraq and all that area and Palestine, etc. But also to bring stuff back, you'll have to go via the Red Sea because there's no railway line or land link that crosses that area yet. Whereas if you're going to the Caucasus, the Caspian Sea is right there. Nice, neat internal lines of communication and supply.
Yeah, the issue is home front.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if they start wars, they're going to detonate.
I'm honestly less concerned about beams, bullets, and bandages, and more concerned about spares. Because if they decide to go a full-throat war against anybody, they are going to burn through spare components and serviceable components at a rate that they cannot sustain because they have no native industry to produce those spares, and nobody has the machining capability to produce those spares.
I mean,
it's not like they could just call up the Russians or the Americans or the British and say, hey, I need parts built to this spec. Nobody can build these spares with very few exceptions.
The Iranians have done fine without spare parts for years.
Okay, I just put that. High-end stuff, you're right. But the domestic small arm industry, Iran can sustain itself. Domestic artillery industry, it can sustain itself. Because they're making their own under license. They were making the American 6-inch? No. We're making American artillery. And pretty much anyone. It's artillery, including domestic, their own domestic models.
Yeah.
Shells are going to be an issue, but if this is a fully war-footed, oh god.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, no, nerve gas.
Oh yeah, they have gas.
Right, Iran-Iraq War.
Yeah, they have
First
nerve.
and only war to see the use of
Yeah,
high-end chemical weapons.
yeah, we'd forgotten that. Yeah, they're just gonna sweep at, like, they don't even need to commit large forces. They can keep the home front suppressed and just sweep across whatever they want to invade
No.
with nerve gas.
No. So, are you aware of who was forced to use a lot of chemical weapons
Iraq, I
in the
think.
Iran-Iraq War?
Iraq, I think.
And I mean, which Iranian minority was forced to use a lot of the chemical weapons during the war?
You mean forced to use or had them used on them?
Forced to use. When conscription came around, they were tagged specifically to go to chemical warfare battalions.
I don't know.
The Kurds.
Oh no.
It was used as a way to get rid of military-age Kurdish men. You've taken the compressive stress off their army. An army armed with chemical weapons that hate each other.
Oh no. Aren't the Ottomans already also doing sketchy shit to the Kurds?
Yes. And instead of being armed with Giselles, the Kurds are going to be armed with AKs.
Yes, that's fine, and I get that. But I mean, I would still say that you've still got some form of compressive stress. It's just, you're quite right, it's nowhere near what it was.
But you also have enhanced the, I guess, explosive stress, tensile stress, whatever, if we're going to keep using that metaphor, on the post-revolution state.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of other powers that are able, willing, and used to intervening overseas. And especially if Britain thinks that this is something that could spill over and threaten its allies or its holdings, Britain will find the men and material to contain or eliminate that threat.
They can.
To be honest, I think the best bet for the survival of this Iranian state to a point of self-sufficiency is going to be, we have hyper-advanced technologies. We will start the bidding at £1 million.
Especially with the Great War being on the go and having borders with both Entente and Central Powers through the Ottomans and India, respectively.
It's going to be
because.
Are you aware of why the British didn't mobilise the Raj until 1916?
Not particularly.
Because there was a lot of I'll just say outright racist fears about Indians in the British government.
Yes.
And specifically around Indian nationalism and Indian national groups, stuff like the rising militant Hindu groups that would go on to be a pain in the 30s.
Yeah.
And the British did whatever they could to, including drawing powerful minority groups in India to not start arming the Hindus.
Yeah.
The issue is that which way is Iran going to go? Are they going to go into the desert? Or are they going to try and go to the Indus and India?
I think before they make that choice, they'll secure the one thing that without which everything else fails: food. I think they will hit.
Yeah, well, which is why I say, do they go to India or the desert?
The Caucasus, like we discussed. It's by far the easiest. It's by far the easiest option and the one which has the safest supply links once conquered and locked down. And the Russians can't exactly stop them.
That's the thing, though. For the good agricultural areas that I was talking about, you have to get to the Don River and the Volga River.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a little bit far. Huh?
Because remember, the Southern Caucasus are mountains and deserts.
Okay, yeah, true.
Or do you go through Pakistan and try and go to the Indus?
And
I mean,
if
Pakistan gives
you
them the
have
leverage. Can I?
Sure,
Pakistan,
go ahead.
yeah, Pakistan gives them the leverage to use their larger at the present moment of conflict initiation mobilized pool of manpower and materiel. And also they have one thing that's really important to recognize here. Iran can build their own bombs. And they have more than enough airframes to really cycle them at a low rate for close air support and reconnaissance.
They're a
That's all
decade
they
away.
need. What?
They're a decade away.
What do you mean? They're from what?
They don't have their enrichment facilities yet.
No, not nuclear bombs.
That's what tends to mean when people go the bomb when
No,
it comes to Iran.
I
Yes.
said
You need to be-
bombs. Sorry. No, they have the ability to build dumb bombs to strap to the bottom of their aircraft, which they have in sufficient numbers to quite handily cycle them through with very low flight hours across the airframe fleet, across all the types they possess, husbanding them carefully. They also have the fuel for those aircraft, as they have come back with the mature refining and extraction oil industry that Iran possesses at this point.
The issue is things they can't bomb, like hunger
No, exactly.
and a financial crash
I know.
and religious extremism.
Yeah.
To answer Chandler's
Okay.
questions, the Northern Indian Plain can feed this Iran. The issue is they're going to strip, especially early on, the Indus region and the northern Indus region, places like Lahore, Islamabad. They're going to okay. Right. The North Indian Plain technically is a food exporter. It's also got a massive population for the level of agriculture there, because most of it's partially industrialized. Iran, because the Iranian government probably march in virtually unopposed and start taking food. Might I remind you what happened last time an Islamic Empire did that?
Yeah.
I have 2 points that I would like to make. If Iran at this point in time goes pretty much anywhere, it's going to either piss off the British or piss off the Tsar, who is then going to annoy the bejesus out of the British.
Honestly, I think you're picking up the British threat far too much. The only real axis of attack is India. They can't come
Well, the problem.
They can't come
Can
navally.
I finish?
Yeah, go on.
The issue is Britain can open up a two-front conflict, which is going to cause significant issues with the ability of this Iran to wage war. Which goes to my second.
You're backing up the wrong tree. The armies cannot conventionally fight this Iran. What the British can do is prevent Iran importing food. The Royal Navy can effectively stop food coming in from the Americas, because the Americas can feed them.
But the second thing is going to tie back to Fleet's comment about trying to keep the average hours on the airframes low. The amount of hours you have on a cutting edge or bleeding edge system doesn't it affects the reliability, but not in the way that you think. So especially on something like an aircraft, a high-performance aircraft, you're worried about the flight hours spent on the airframe, because that's going to induce all sorts of chronic stress and fatigue issues in the airframe over time. And you're going to worry about the hours between rebuilds on the power plant, whether that's reciprocating or turbine or whatever. However, anybody who has done maintenance on equipment knows that you have a maintenance schedule. So in between those rebuilds or major inspections or overhauls or whatever the terminology the engineers use is, you'll have your periodic maintenance, which is still going to require inspections, spare parts, so on and so forth. And if this Iran runs out of certain spares, which are used in between rebuilds, even if the average hours of those airframes are low, it will still take those airframes out of service, or those power plants out of service.
No, I completely agree. I'm just like...
Just one counterpoint to that. No, I'm going to argue your point for you, Fleet. Iranians, despite being under a full embargo and fully unable to get parts for them, are still capable of keeping their F5s and F14s operational.
And their F4s.
Well, the F4s or the F5s?
No, they have both. But I will point
They
out,
had Phantoms and Tomcats.
I am going to defeat my own I'm going to defeat the person arguing my point here.
Can I finish? Can I just finish the point? Is that due to black magic, they were able to keep them around.
No, it's not so much without black magic. It's that the problem is that they have been able to get parts for those airframes until they were able to work up a capability to bodge the parts themselves through black market connections and sanction busting. That's something they cannot do at this point. They're either going to have to tear down numerous aircraft for... Basically, they have a choice. They either run the airframes into the ground and start with a... By running to the ground, I mean they gradually husband them until they all basically run out of airframe hours or all break down. And then while working on building a new domestic manufacturing base for aircraft of some kind, be they jets, piston-engined aircraft of a more advanced nature than those the rest of the world has, whatever. Or they make the conscious decision to break up a significant portion of their existing air fleet, not only for spares, but also to act as bases and parts donors and examples to base new production of spares off of, or new bodges off of, and trying to speed up that process to keep their existing fleet operational.
Okay, Fleet.
Yeah.
Fleet. It's 1914. Why are you binding Iran to their high-end aircraft?
I'm not. I literally... did you not?
Iran has a domestic aircraft industry. They make their own crop... No, hear me out. They make their own crop dusters at this point.
Yeah, Fox, that's literally what I just said. I literally just said that...
Yeah. And this is also to counter for point I get thrown on is... They're building engines for crop dusters. They're building Cessna engines. They have quite a lot of Cessnas in civilian and partially military and state use. You don't need the F4s or the Tomcats to have effective strike anywhere capability.
A Cessna's going to fuck up a lot of biplanes in that period.
Yes!
And it can carry enough ordnance to be a good cast platform.
It won't carry that much ordnance, but it'll still fuck up most biplanes and triplanes at a time.
No, okay, the Cessnas can't carry the ordnance. The bloody crop dusters can, though. They can easily carry a pair of 250-pound
crop
bombs.
dusters can. They carry thousands of pounds of fertilizer.
Yeah. But I'm just gonna address something I'm seeing.
The Super Tucano effect of...
Yeah.
In low air threats, you don't actually need that advance of an aircraft.
No. What I am going to say quickly is I'm just going to address something that I've seen, which is, so, where are we? Oh, yeah, so, people talking about the Royal Navy going in to do port raids, Channel's talking about it.
No.
That's literal suicide. The Iranians have significant numbers of anti-ship missiles, they have their Navy, which also has anti-ship missiles, they have their Air Force, and that would be a threat you would deploy your jets against. That would result in near total loss of whatever force tries to do that. Be it, I don't care if they bring the QEs, they're dying. Harpoons to the guts will kill them.
The only time you'd ever see that is when Iran starts to implode, the British start sending troops in to help the Farsi.
Yeah.
And unlike the question that we got on Monday about one of the modern day terrorist groups, Iran actually does have full capability to target and guide in their anti-ship munitions.
They've got Harpoon, and Harpoon is literally yeet us and forget us.
Yes, but Iran can actually produce its own radar sets, largely. I trust Iran to be able to do that.
Oh yeah, even at this point, they already are producing license-built versions of Soviet radar sets. And they've already practiced using...
and they're using Soviet semiconductors.
Okay, well,
They don't have a native semiconductor industry.
Well, they can fall back on older radars. They have the
Not
knowledge
that
base for
semiconductor
that.
industry.
The British are... Oh yeah, that's a good point.
And they can't get them elsewhere because what we would call the semiconductor industry doesn't exist yet. Neither does the modern semiconductor.
No.
Or the transistor.
Yes, I know. So radars are really what they've got to husband. Really, 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 really carefully.
They could probably make the jump to transistor tubes quickly enough.
They've got
I don't know enough to say there.
Yeah.
But, right, typical Gunner. Yes, Harpoon technically as a hardened target is not as good as Exocet. The Harpoon will still quite happily bap anything that's not a super dreadnought in a single hit.
And also politely, if it is a super dreadnought, top attack mode, pop-up mode be upon you. Your superstructure is now the non-superstructure. It's fucking gone, mate.
Yeah, but the argument is
A better way to say that, Fleet, is your superstructure is now super gone.
But the later super dreadnoughts would probably not stink from the shock.
No, but it's mission kill. It's go home. It's
a
go home
mission
o'clock.
kill.
It's go home o'clock.
But an Exocet slamming into the side and fucking up the internals of an Iron Duke would sink the Iron Duke.
Oh god, Foxo, I think the Iranians have Silkworm at this point. And that will just...
It's going to be useless, but okay.
No?
Yeah, it is.
Why is it?
Because it's so far overkill. It's so far into overkill, it's not worth using.
Not against the pre-dreadnoughts, it's not. That Silkworm is one of the last generation of missiles that shit it was designed to deal with.
Yeah, but when lower end, cheaper, easy to use missiles will still do the job, it's like trying to use a nuke to destroy a pillbox.
Oh no, you could. Well, no.
Why?
Yeah, I suppose.
I think the nicest way to say this is shit's gonna be fucked, you know?
Right. Okay, no. Typical gunnery officer. Yes, a Fig 7 could survive an Exocet. Because the Fig 7 has about 60 years of internal design between it and ships at this point.
Yeah, the thing is...
But the Figs are fucking welded construction.
Modern warships
The shock effect from an Exocet going through a riveted ship.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Gunnery officer...
It's just going to liquefy the crew.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that ships of this period are barely built, if they're absolutely modern, to survive torpedo hits. in the single-digit numbers.
Consider that until the rebuilds, until the QBs, dreadnoughts are not equipped with additional bulkheads for torpedo defense. They have a single up to 3-inch strengthened bulkhead.
Yeah, okay, yes.
They don't even have subdivided torpedo defense at this point.
Yes, gunnery officer, that is what... That harpoon cannot have exploded. That is not a big enough...
I'm pretty sure it did, actually.
That is not...
I also want to point out that some of the bigger anti-shipping missiles can be reasonably equated to a school bus, whereas even the biggest shells in this period can only be reasonably equated to an old school VW Beetle.
But I've also got to point out that USS Ark was built in a generation where you would build even your smaller escorts to take 1 or 2 bomb hits.
Yeah.
Like, they were designed around dissipating the force of those explosions.
Also, the FIGs...
Hence why you see stuff like USS Cole taking the damage he does.
Like, let's not forget, the FIGs were designed... Yes, okay, yeah. The thing is, I want you to look at Stark for me, gunnery officer. She's listing heavily to port. She's not moving. She's a mission kill. Yeah, she's a mission kill. And that's a ship built to take that sort of punishment. But bear in mind, the sacrifices they make for being able to take that sort of punishment, this is something all modern navies understand, is you don't die, but you are mission killed.
I know the Cole was attacked by a different attack profile. I understand that. But even the Cole technically was by all rights, Cole should have been scrapped in the Middle East.
Yeah.
The reason we rebuilt the Cole is as a giant middle finger to the whichever terrorist org it was that attacked her. Fuck you. You don't kill our ships. We do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and
I don't think that boat had that much bigger a warhead than some of these anti-shipping missiles.
And bear in mind, don't forget, if harpoon isn't enough, you've got fucking
you've got P5s.
Yeah.
P5s built to sink the Iowa class. They'd quite happily sink a pre-dreadnought. Or a super dreadnought.
Yeah, it ain't funny.
That's light mark.
Yeah, that's... And also, politely, if the anti-ship missiles, for some reason, don't do the job, just call the fucking Iranian Air Force. Like, literally.
And they'll put a 4,000-pound bomb on it.
Yeah.
Now we move on from this, because you've kind of done this one to death multiple times over.
It's fun.
But I wanted to beat the dead horse into a fine, uniform pace, like thermal combat.
Right. Typical gunner officer.
The glue factory with ye.
Do you think the Flannex Sea Whiz is
Okay, no. Can I just do one correction
All
at this point?
All right.
One.
Dots were only mostly made out of steel. On average, between 20 and 25% of their construction at this point is still wood.
Not quite. Wood's primarily...
But on the older ones, it still is.
No, wood's primarily used for stuff like decking.
Decking, subdecks, it's used for backing of armor. It's
only
used
in
to
some
back
cases.
The hardened bulkheads. Because specifically, teak is used for the backing on the British dreadnoughts. On the British dreadnoughts. No, it was used on the dreadnoughts as well. Yeah. It's like, there's also a lot of iron construction in there as well. Because of how construction steel was at that point.
I think stating a lot is really overestimated. The statement, dreadnoughts are built mostly with steel, is a correct statement. Because they are something like 80 to 90% steel.
Yes, but they're not fully steel. That
But that says mostly.
yeah, but it's not as much as people think. But anyway, go on.
Okay. Typical Gunner Officer asks, do you think the Phalanx Sea Whiz is the most dangerous Sea Whiz of all the Sea Whiz systems because it has many cases of close calls or even friendly fire incidents? Do you think the AK-630, Goalkeeper, the Millennium, or the Type 730 are less dangerous than the Phalanx? No. And I don't think... I don't think Phalanx is any more or less dangerous than any other Sea Whiz that has an automatic engagement mode, as many of them do.
And Phalanx is also the one that's been shot at the most because it's on fucking everything.
Yeah, this question is a...
No, the Russian one's been shot out more.
Yeah, AK-630 has seen some fucking work.
And AK-630 is very, very dangerous.
Yes.
Because it's got a very high failure rate.
Exploding.
Well, I would also point out that the AK-630 we probably don't hear about as much in the West
Yeah,
versus Phalanx.
indeed.
You know, unless it
Yeah,
does
as
something
Caboose put
stupid
it.
like lock on the bridge and level the bridge, we probably won't hear about it for the
Indeed.
AK-630.
Indeed.
Well, the issue the AK-630 has is that it's slave to some pretty bad radars. And it's a very complex weapon, even by Seaway standards.
Yeah. Let's
It's
not
got
talk...
a very, very high maintenance standard.
Yeah, let's not talk
And then they
about...
put it in the Russian army.
Yeah, maybe. Let's not talk about the
Maybe.
double-barreled AK-630. Anyway, but yeah, no, they're not any more or less dangerous in terms of friendly fire incidents than any other Seaways in particular. It's basically just down to the fact that the reason there are more incidents is because there are more phalanxes. The US Navy puts them on fucking everything. And there are a lot of
And
US
it's
Navy warships.
And
There's a lot of U.S. allies which use the system as well.
yeah, but it's also, so like Bruce has also pointed out, it's not the fault of the Seaway system, it's the fault to what those Seaway systems have been slave to 3 generations of fire control now,
Yeah.
and 3 radar generations.
Mm.
And the 80s and 90s radars
Funny?
have issues,
Yeah, probably.
especially before digitized fire control.
Yep.
But blame the fire control, not the Gatling cannon.
Knight 6831 asks, did the British ever adopt the quadruple 20mm Oerlikon anti-aircraft gun, and if not, why? I don't think, unless I'm forgetting, I know a quad Oerlikon was developed, but as far as I'm aware, I can't remember it being adopted by any of the combatants during World War II or even after it.
What's intended into the octuple mount, Dragon?
No. They were never, as far as I'm aware, they were never used in a quad mount, because why would you need a quad mount? Like, you normally see them in either singles or twins, because these are meant to be relatively small air guns you can stick everywhere. As soon as you go to something like a quad mount,
You could fit a double Bopers in the same place.
Quite
Okay,
big.
so just confirm. I just
You're thinking
checked
the
what
40
Bruce
mils.
has said. The quad 20 mils were used on USPT boats. Thanks for pointing that out, Caboose.
yeah, but not.
Yeah, but that's
Wasn't that Chicago
Yeah,
Piano
also too.
not Ehrlich?
no.
Not
The
Oerlikon?
Chicago piano's a 1.1 inch, which is
21 mil, yeah.
what 27 millimeter.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
28.
27.
But the thing with a PT boat is it's big enough. It's small, too small to put anything really big on,
Bloody hell.
but it's big enough to put a lot of little guys on. And if you stack 4 20 mils together, that's a hell of a lot of firepower for a PT boat, especially if it's in an AA mount.
It's all
So it
very
has
fair.
a
No.
Apart
faster
from one thing,
reverse.
those aren't British.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, but apparently They were also fitted to some of the British PT boats in the Channel, Pamph.
They're mostly fitted to ground stuff more than anything else.
Ground stuff.
Okay,
Ironically,
and...
I think the British more tend to use Polstons for quad mounts.
I have to ask, were they fitted by British shipbuilding or were they fitted by British chiefs?
I'm expecting chiefs.
By the looks
feel
of
like-
it, I don't have any clue because it doesn't say. It just says that there were modifications of the MTBs to equip them
That
with.
sounds like it was done by chiefs.
I'm just sat here and I'm going. Like, in the space, you could fit a quad Oerlikon. You could put a single or twin 40mm. And I'd rather have the single or twin
which
40mm.
is what the British did.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why
Even on,
I think.
even on their PT boats, they tended to prefer sticking a 40mm on. We see this with the Vosper series.
Whereas,
But I guess
whereas
the
with the-
bosses. Because there is.
Sorry, Foxo.
Because both sides in the Channel War used quad 20 mils, especially at night or in low light activities.
Yeah, the Germans, yeah. Like in that
Because
sort of...
basically, a 40 mil will do more damage. The shit tons of 20 have a better chance of hitting.
And also they make the other fucker keep their heads down.
Yeah, I'd imagine the quad 20 versus a twin 40 is the difference between hitting on threes with AP3 versus hitting on fours with AP6.
Tell you one thing though, that would have been a bloody sight to see. A British quad 20mm boat and a German E-boat with a flak reeling blazing away at each other in the middle of the night. That would have been a fucking sight to see.
These things fought in squadrons of 6.
Oh my god, the tracer effects.
Yeah.
I should have said strength instead of AP, but you know.
Yeah. Okay.
And
YouTube.
quite frankly, when your opponent, their protection is 12 millimeters of wood.
Yeah, it's just spray and pray, boys. YouTube Minecraft Watcher, what is the panel's opinion on the EM3 automatic rifle design? If curious, the empty casings eject out of the butt where you see the arrow and there's an image provided.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah, I've never even heard of it.
Say it again.
EM3,
They eject out of the butt stock.
apparently.
Oh!
Why?
I don't know.
The... do they mean the EM2?
No, they say specifically EM3.
Because the EM3 is the prototype version of the EM2. Which was the post-war intermediate cartridge British assault rifle. That was one of the first bullpups.
Bullpup.
That was also known as Rifle Number 9 Mark 1, or the Janssen rifle.
Because I can't see it, when they say eject out of the butt stock, do they mean left to the right, so the outside of your typical right-handed shooter, bottom, or back?
Back, I think, from the image I've seen.
Yeah, so... Okay, so watching a video of Mike Ferguson, the creator of Firearms and Artillery at the Royal Armouries, they fired back and up and were designed to go over your shoulder.
Oh my god, why? Just, wow, okay. That's a way to get rid of spent brass. I disagree with it, but that's a way to get rid of spent brass. I don't
worked.
like it.
It threw the bullet through the casing far enough away that enough to say that it wouldn't hit you if you were laying down or static with it.
Wouldn't the noise be horrific?
Go.
No, the noise on a gun is always at the muzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I mean, you'll get noise from the action cycling, but the bulk of the noise is at the muzzle.
Fair enough.
I don't like it. I don't care if it works. I don't like it.
Are you just pulling
I'll be back.
a horse from fucking Reverend and Stimpy? No, sir, I don't like it.
Yes.
No, sir, I don't like it one bit.
Probably.
Because the issue the AM2, because the AM2 is what the AM3 becomes, is there's a minor issue called NATO standardization and the fucking Americans. Now, the Americans are an elusive species, insanely arrogant and unwilling to change. Despite all the information they were given, decided that NATO standardization was required, which, yes, it was. They forced standardization on 308, despite the fact that most combat experience of the Second World War showed you didn't really want a full caliber rifle round for the majority of engagements. An intermediate round was perfectly fine and much better, but you could carry more of them, and you could make better rifles, shorter, lighter rifles out of them.
And also, politely, they picked the M14 as their service rifle. Jesus.
Caboose. Yeah, caboose. If you hadn't have adopted the M14, I wouldn't be coping. If you'd adopted the FAL like a civilized Western power, you would have actually been served by standardizing on 308. But you had to choose the M14.
Like, if you want to have 308, fine, pull rank. But for God's sake, accept a better rifle than fucking M14. or you could have gone for the fucking... I mean, okay, I will admit, the army did kind of fuck with the M14. I mean, they could have had the AR-15 as well with the fucking... Yeah, the AR-10 would probably be better.
The AR-10 would have been better if they didn't give it to the army.
Yeah, I like how Fox and Caboose are united in one thing. The army should not be given guns. They can't be trusted.
I mean, don't try playing your rifle self-cleaning. It never works.
Knight6831 asks, how flawed is the mentality that any future war will be over in 5 minutes? It's idiotic. It's idiotic in the extreme, given the litany of examples that literally run back through this fucking 5-year period, and the decade before that, and the decade before that. I don't even have to reach back. I don't even have to reach back fucking further than the fucking spat between India and Pakistan, or Israel and Iran, to tell you that the fucking wars won't last 5 bloody minutes.
Please, there's a more obvious answer that you haven't picked up on.
Well, look, Russia and Ukraine's too fucking obvious.
No. The average flight time for an RCBM is 11.5 minutes. So the minimum time to end a war is 12.
Funny. Oh, fucking... Typical gunnery officer. Do you believe the War Thunder myth that the Abrams ARAT EAR is the worst AAR module even in real life, way worse than the Krong TAC, Relict, or British Challenger 2 TESS ERA, is the reason why they didn't send ARAT tiles to Ukraine? First of all, don't believe anything that comes out of War Thunder. Just as a general rule. Because War Thunder myths are dumb, pretty much as a rule. In regards to ARAT ERA, I've never heard of it before this point. I wasn't aware.
Classified, and classified.
Yes, but apart from anything else beyond that, I'm literally going to say, yeah,
but
how the fuck are we supposed to know how good it is? It's fucking modern ERA. It's classified out the fucking wazoo.
All we know is that Ukraine got TUS kits, and Ukraine likes the TUS kits. But technically, you've got better chance of asking the British Army what's the composite of chopper and armor.
Yeah. 96831. Out of the Mark IV single and the Mark V twin mount, which one would have been likely used for a Mark 16 sextuple 20mm Oerlikon AA gun mount? None, because no one needs a sextuple 20mm Oerlikon AA gun mount. It is the, if you look under waste of space and weight in the dictionary, sextuple 20mm Oerlikon AA mounts are sat right there. There is literally
quad 40 mil.
Exactly.
No, I think it wasn't Zulu. It was the other one. One of the couple of tribals got their sextuple 50 cal mounts replaced with.
They didn't have sextuple 50 cal mounts.
No, they did instead of sextuple verticals.
Nope, that's
That
quad.
What's that called? I swear they did
That's quad, and they replaced with twin 20 mils.
Fuck. Anyway, never mind. They've got the quads. Yeah. Honestly, put it on an M3 half track.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the army would like having a sextuple 20mm mount on a half track?
Nope, because they looked at quad 20 mils and decided this wasn't great.
I mean, they liked them.
But they weren't great.
No,
Okay,
correction,
I've
the
just
infantry
gone in.
liked them.
Okay, I've just gone in to read YouTube chat because I've been too busy trying to move questions over, make sure everything's in order. Knight, you've just and I'm gonna roll back for a second because I'm gonna kill this quickly. Knight, you say World War I ships are armored. Missiles do not and have not cared about armor plating on warships in terms of anti-ship missiles for their entire existence. Armor is fundamentally useless against anti-ship missiles of basically any size except the smallest, diddiest ones. A harpoon with the right warhead goes through Yamato's turret face. Armor is not a defense against anti-ship missiles and never will be.
Massive asterisks there.
No massive asterisks. Done. I'm sick of people bringing up armor to defend against missiles. Done.
Yeah, because they can't be. Because it's very easy to swap a pure HE warhead for a pure heat warhead.
Yep.
And the shock warheads. But the contact fused small anti-shipping missiles and tomahawks can be stopped by armor. The armor's not going to stop the blast effect, but the missile won't enter the ship, which is better than it entering the ship. It will still fuck up the ship.
I mean, Caboose puts it best. 500-pound warhead at Mac fuck.
I think that armor, and it's the reason why. Oh god, was it? It wasn't sticks. It was. Was it the P-15s? Had specialized armor piercing warheads for them as well as
P-15s
their standard
do.
warheads.
Yeah, P-15s do.
Yeah, it's like in extreme cases you can just put a massive fuck off heat warhead on the missile.
And also politely, at night, if we're talking about harpoon quickly, harpoon in this period is pop-up, so it fundamentally doesn't matter whether it's penetrating armor or not. Your superstructure is super gone, as Ruinon said.
It does matter though, Fleet. Because if a ship's got hull below the waterline, it won't sink.
Okay, and your superstructure's fucking gone. Your mission is a failure. Fuck off, go home.
Which is why it's better, in some cases, to slam it to the side of the target, not top down. But
they've got
at that point,
they've got Silkworm for that. They've got Silkworm for that. YouTube Minecraft Watcher asks, what is the panel's opinion on this kit that I got from an antique sale for $10? And the image has actually been transferred over once. I like that. It's a nice little British small merchantman. Not perhaps completely accurate, but still, I like it. It's very nice. What does everyone else think?
It's neat.
I just think it's neat, says Dragon. And I don't disagree.
I just don't really have much more to say than that. It's like, it's a
Ruinon
neat little
Foxer.
thing, but fair enough.
Okay. Next question. Admiral Wellesley, Insanity 2. Are humans really that bad in Avatar? The blue alien ones, not the good ones. They are repeating some of the worst mistakes of colonialism, I will point out. In particular, extraction colonialism. However,
Huh?
they're not doing it against humans,
Debatable.
so I'm not really that bothered, if I'm going to be fundamentally honest with you.
Debatable
Can I
without
be
human.
heard now?
Yes.
Yes.
Honestly, though, without human intervention, those aliens would have died. So, to be brutally honest, the only reason they're actually able to do stuff is literally because of intervention from
What's the
more
question?
humans. So, saying that it's thoughts on basically humans from Avatar, the what's it called, one that's taking far too long to actually come out properly. But
Incompetent.
Yeah,
James
no,
Cameron.
I'll give him
I would
that.
I'd only say they're incompetent because they're made to be.
Yeah.
We literally see that, right? Because as we see in the second one, as soon as basically it's no longer a mining expedition, as soon as they actually deploy forces, they deploy forces to the point where the groups are having to run and hide.
But the fact
So
they're still fighting with one hand behind their back,
Yeah.
when it's quite literally a war of.
What do you mean by fighting one hand behind the back?
The humans still aren't full sending it.
They
Yeah.
Have you seen the second film?
I have.
Yes, and they're still not full sending it.
They're sending what can be sent reasonably quickly,
I mean, I will admit,
which
Fox, though,
secures you a beachhead.
yeah, I
One
will,
which so far has not been able to even be touched.
yeah, I
Well,
will
but the
point
sheer
out.
fact that they haven't started chucking rocks at people,
Yeah.
What do you mean by chucking rocks?
chucking rocks.
No,
Are
I
you
mean-
meaning orbital drops of asteroids?
Yes.
Well done, you've just removed the point of being there.
But I would point out as well, they physically can't. Bear in mind, and I'm going to back dragon on this one. They basically, to do the landing they do at the beginning of the second film, they had to group every single ISV they had built up to that point back at Earth, launch them all as a group, and now they've arrived. They now have to use the Valkyrie shuttles of those ISVs to refuel them all, and then, because they want to keep things rolling and return to a regular schedule, send those ISVs off one at a time again to re-establish the chain.
Dropping large-scale asteroids from orbit will just also annihilate the reason they're there.
They also don't
not
have...
really.
They also...
Because
it will.
no. There is a range of scale of asteroids from pebble to mass extinction.
I would also point out, Fox, that they don't really have the means to collect or
They
maneuver.
have Delta V, they can.
They don't really have the craft that they can risk going into those asteroid fields to go and get asteroids. The Valkyrie shuttles... The Valkyrie shuttles theoretically could, but if you lose too many of them, you can no longer refuel the vast fleet of ISVs waiting to transfer back to Earth once the Valkyries have skimmed off Polyphemus to refuel the antimatter the tanks that the antimatter engines use. So you can't really risk them, and they are
Why
only.
Why are you expending a shuttle riding a kinetic kill vehicle all the way to the surface?
But no, I'm talking about actually going and getting them.
So it just takes longer
No.
to refuel the ISVs.
No. Asteroid belts are dangerous places at the best of times. Like, it's not.
Not
It's
really?
like you're talking about matching Delta V with a horrific mass of dust particles and small micrometeorites, etc. Quite frankly, I wouldn't.
This is a universe with real space FTL. Their
Yeah,
craft
no.
have to go through space.
Saying they are not really proper FTL, but
No, but also politely.
Also,
it's not worth the risk, and they have other options. Like, politely, at that point, I would say, why are you not dropping nukes from orbit? Instead, it's simpler. The ISVs
Because
could be...
fissile materials are valuable.
Not
Okay,
to
alright,
Earth,
so-
it's not.
I have 2 points. They're both counter to Fleet. The first is to his opening statement. If the procurement of unobtainium is critical to supporting human life on Earth, I am 100% for what they're doing. Because, I'm sorry, human life trumps fucking everything. I wish they would be a little bit less dicks about it, but at the end of the day, if it's get the unobtainium or die, I'm getting the fucking unobtainium. 2, yes, micrometeorites are a problem, a higher risk problem in asteroid belts, but an asteroid belt is not a planetary ring. It's a very low density zone of stuff. I would argue there's probably some orbital bands on Earth that are just as messy as some sections of Sol's asteroid belt.
Yeah. The problem we've got is that
Significantly
the only...
more of Earth's higher bit of Earth has significant higher impact chance from high-speed debris than you have in the asteroid belt.
Like relatively speaking, asteroid belts are quite safe to navigate in. They are not close, grouped up masses of orbital bodies. They're
Okay,
spacious, roomy.
I feel like we are...
asterisks. A undisturbed asteroid belt is like a lazy river. A fully disturbed one that's had a, say, something big come through it, they can be pretty dangerous. But at that point, you've got a planet that's free birding around the system.
Yeah.
Right.
And at the scales, at astronomical timescales, literally and metaphorically, it's going to be so much far beyond what, even if you took the ISVs themselves to augment the Valkyries to start hucking rocks at Pandora, you're not going to destabilize the belt to that point in any meaningful time frame.
The problem is that as far as we're aware, I don't think there is an asteroid belt. I think you've got Polyphemus's rings, and that's your choice. And she's a gas giant with rings like Saturn.
That's even better.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's linear and predictable. With a concentrated
Depends on how big of a one
uniform
you can.
gravity.
Depends on how big of a rock you can get and what their composition is made of.
And also, again, I would point out that antimatter reactors and engines are clearly a thing in this universe. I think Earth can afford to spare fissile material for dirty uranium bombs. Or heck, if you want to do it cleanly, neutron bombs exist. They're literally the perfect thing for this. Just neutron carpet bomb the things you want got rid of, and boom, job done.
But okay, there is an argument against nuclear weapons.
Not against neutron bombs, there isn't.
Yes, there is, because they do not know how the local biosphere will react to that level of neutron radiation. Earth's biosphere does weird fucking things when exposed to that levels of neutron radiation. Biospheres regularly survive having large rocks chucked at them.
No, they don't. They
do.
No, they survive the
To be fair, how many large-scale rocks has Earth survived so late in like the past 1,000
Literally
years?
tens of thousands.
No, then they haven't survived that. Then they've burnt them up. If that's what you mean.
Are you talking about the planet or the biosphere?
I feel like we're getting a little bit lost in the weeds here.
The biosphere. Because you need to draw a distinction between the ones that create the Gulf of fucking Mexico
Then
and the one that does Tunguska.
Then Foxo, most of the ones you're talking about here are the ludicrously large variety. Most celestial objects that get thrown against an atmosphere will burn up. It won't even hit the ground.
Yes, which is why I'm saying stuff like the Tunguska asteroid, which is capable of a lot of very localized devastation and can get through atmospheres.
You need to
It
get
got
that sort of thing.
through the scary thing about the Tunguska asteroid. They're a dime a fucking dozen in space.
They're not.
They are.
You forget how big space is.
They're a dime a dozen. The moon gets hit by them regularly.
Oh boy.
The only reason
Define.
Earth don't get hit
Define regularly.
Okay, all right. Look, I'm pulling.
we actively track the new craters on the moon.
I'm pulling rank. We are really getting into the weeds here of spatial debris and meteorite discussion, which is well clear. And okay, we have officially run out of time. Unfortunately. Thank you so much everyone for watching. Like I said, this was going to be a short one. There will be another catch-up ramblings tomorrow because there basically kind of has to be. Because, well, yeah, like I need some time to chill and I need to
You're capable of
go
chill.
to bed. I have to be.
When in doubt,
Otherwise I don't.
return to monkey.
Goblin
Well,
mode.
considering how much he was insulting Foxo earlier, it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't appear tomorrow.
Ding dang well, bing bang. It better be long. It will be.
That's what she said.
Chandler Lord, it'll be what it'll be. It'll be after work, and I will have things I want to chill and do that evening. So it will be as long as it will be. Anything we don't get to, we will get to when we get to it, either next Friday or on Monday, depending on when I have the time. Obviously, as the work rota allows. Take care, everybody, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye-bye!
Will he?
Knight,
dun, dun.
just very quickly. Knight, I chose to not answer the Hiroshima question. I didn't think it was... I just chose not to answer it. Given it was a bit of a personal question, and not something I really want to discuss.
Right. Whilst they were ending now because Fleet's got a...
He's busy.
He's busy.
Yeah, I'm
He
working.
is weak.
And me and Dragon have a Star Wars D&D to do. So I'm going to go commit war crimes as a separatist in the Empire.